Hi, Tim Sales here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about I don't have the money. All right. And so you sent somebody some information for them to look at, and they looked at it or they didn't, and they say, I don't have the money. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Another way that they may say it is, I can't afford it. And it's yet another self-invalidation. So in this series, I'm talking about what prevents a person from joining. And I don't have the money, or I can't afford it, is a common one. I know in my life, when I first looked at this, and this was way back in 1989, I ended up telling the person that I couldn't afford it. And he said to me, he asked me a very important question, and I'll never forget that day. Because he said, Tim, how long have you been saying I can't afford it? And I, I was like, all my life. And he goes, and so did you just reply that, or do you really can't afford it? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I could afford it. Like I might need to sleep in my truck, but I could afford it, I guess. And so that kind of started the conversation. So in the world of self-invalidation around this, what I'm talking about is that very often a person has some other reason, but they just spit something out. Okay, so and I think that was mine, right? I kind of had the idea that I couldn't do it for one of these other reasons that I was invalidating myself. And so I spit that one out. All right. And so it's just a whole series of it. And these are either decided by you, or you hang around somebody who has this issue. All right. And and you end up adopting their idea. All right. It's kind of like that. If I didn't have bad luck, I would have no luck at all. You hear somebody say that, everybody laughs, and then you begin to think it. All right. So you get a flat tire and you say, man, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. And you begin to be that person, right? And so you're talking like that person. You get that attitude, and then it continues on. And so, or somebody asks you for some money sometime, and you said, I can't afford it, or I don't have the money. And it just became a good excuse. All right. So after that conversation with Rick, he was the person who brought me into network marketing. He said, and this is key. He said, okay, well, do you have anything that you could sell? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, well, I'll leave that to you. All right. So if you believe this and you want to do this, then figure out a way. He didn't kind of like come into my world and say, walk through my garage. And so what I ended up doing, truthfully, I just went through everything, and I thought, you know what? All right, let me just pretend this is real. Let's say that in a year or in 2 years, I'll be making X amount of money. Then, all right, then I would not have a problem buying new golf clubs. I got mine at a garage sale anyway. I can go to another garage sale, or I can buy new ones, better ones. Guns, bicycle, a Mark V helmet. That was really hard to give up. At that time, I was a deep sea diver. And so those are very valuable to us. Not necessarily particularly expensive, but they had a value because I was in the last class that we were trained to dive with that helmet. So I also did a garage sale and sold everything, and people came in and bought everything. And so I got enough money. All right. So in other words, that's what happens when you look at it and you say, this isn't real, like why did I say that statement anyway? And now I do believe that there are circumstances where a person can't, right? Like, all right, great. So would you be willing to get customers to build a business? All right. And so work your way that way. And if they're not willing to do that, then you know that it's one of the other items. All right? It's self-invalidation. And for those of you who haven't seen the very first video I did on this series, what I'm talking about is that somebody is they're down on themselves in a particular area, and it exposes itself in different directions. And so that's really all that it is. And I'm forever indebted to the person who walked me through this. Otherwise, I would have just self-invalidated myself and thinking I couldn't do it. And then I would have told somebody one of these excuses, and then they believed me, and off I go, right? And so thankfully that person didn't do that. So this is all there is. So I sold everything. I got the money. And when I say everything, I'm talking about these things. And it was enough for me to get going. And then anytime I sold a product, I was able to make enough money to do leads and buy more products. And I just continued on that process. And so there was a little bit of initial. The simplicity is that all businesses do this, and you generate a lead, you contact them, you set an appointment, do a presentation, follow up. You get a customer, you serve them, you make money. All businesses in the world. This is what happens when you want a spouse. This is what happens in church. In order to get a congregation, this is what happens everywhere. And so I just needed to learn, and that was it. And so it worked out. I did buy a better every one of those things. Didn't get a Mark V again, but the helmet. But I could, right? And that's the main thing is that I needed to figure out a solution to that particular problem so that I would be able to build a better life out in front of me. And so it's exactly what happened. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. You might consider subscribing also. And if you like it, share it with somebody that you think that this could help. Thank you.